And we are back for Saturday's 4-game main slate. Welcome. My name is DK. We're breaking down the 4-game daily fantasy sports slate in this video. I also cover content for player prop sites like Prize Picks, Underdog, and Parlay Play. Prize Picks, they're the sponsor of the video. If you guys are not on Prize Picks, the player prop site where you're building out props, slips of player props. You can build 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 6 players in one slip. If you hit all 6, you move up to 25 extra money. You can mix and match sports. They have basically every single sport you can think of. So you guys do want to give it a try. You can use the code DKDFS for 100% match up to $100, or you can click the link down below. It does help support the channel. Also cover kind of for NFL daily fantasy sports. And if you guys are looking for more content for DFS or for prop stuff, you can check my Patreon link down below. All right, so let's recap last couple nights here before we get into this video. So the night before, just missed the cash in tournaments, and this really tilted me. Sadiq Bey, can someone explain to me how you go for 7 fantasy points in 30 minutes? Can someone explain that? I think I could have done better than that on the basketball court. I haven't shot a basketball in like 2 years. I think I could have got more than 7 fantasy points in 30 minutes. Incredible stuff there from Sadiq Bey. Yeah, that was a lineup there from the other day. Campaign, Bogdanovich, Bey, Giannis, Portis, Halliburton, Jalen Johnson, and Markelle Fultz. My lineup tonight was a big swing and a miss because I stacked the Hornets-Wizards game. This Wizards coach is really starting to piss me off, man. I understand the blowouts and giving the guys limited minutes, but all right. And I know this is a really bad team, but I need answers to this. Why are we playing Danilo Gallinari and Landry Shamet minutes in 2023? Why? Like, if I am the coach of the Washington Wizards, like I said, I know this roster is not good. I'm playing Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma 38 minutes a game. I'm playing Tyus Jones and Deni Avdija 35 minutes a game. I'm playing Gafford 30 minutes a game. I'm playing Koulibaly solid minutes off the bench. I'm developing my young players. Like, what are we doing here? In a competitive game, we're playing Poole and Kuzma 30 minutes? It's just incredible stuff. It's incredible stuff. And I'm tilting as my voice like cracking because I'm sick, so it kind of probably sounds funny. But yeah, it's just like, come on, man. You can't do that. You can't do that as a coach. So the Wizards coach needs to be fired. I don't even know what his name is. I need to look it up, but he needs to be fired. You can't do that. You can't do that as a basketball coach. I know this team is bad, and I understand playing, guys limited minutes and blowouts, but in a competitive game, you cannot play your best players like 30 minutes a game. That's a fireable offense in my book. So I had to get that tilt out of the way. Just unreal. All right, let's now talk about this 4-game slate. We'll start off with Milwaukee. So Milwaukee, the big news here is Damian Lillard is questionable. He missed last game, and that's going to open up a good amount of value here if Dame misses. If Dame misses, Campaign becomes one of the best values of the board. Campaign honestly had a subpar game last game with Dame Lillard out. Played 30 minutes, went for 21 fantasy points. Payne's usually about a fantasy point per minute player, so if Dame is out, I think he, again, would be one of the best values on the board, and then that would open up some other value. Guys like Beasley, Crowder, Connaughton would all look a little bit better. More usage for Middleton, more usage for Lopez, more usage for Portis. Obviously, Giannis looks even better. So everyone will look better if Dame is out. Now, if Dame is in, there's not a ton that I love really outside of Giannis. Giannis at 11K still should be able to smash here against Orlando. He's been pretty up and down this year, but I'm not really worried of anyone defensively on the Magic trying to shut down Giannis. So, Giannis would still look good. Dame at 9-3 would be more of your tournament play if he does play. He has much lower floor. And then, Middleton, they've been pretty strict on his minutes of around 20, so it's kind of just more of a secondary play. Portis and Lopez are still playable for me. If Dame is out, they look better. Or if Dame is in, they're still playable. If Dame is out, they look better. And then Payne would be out of place for me if Dame is in. The other value plays would be a bit tougher to get to. I think Crowder would still be fine if Dame is in, but the Dame Lillard news is going to be huge. Going to open up a good amount of value if he does not play. Talking to Orlando, so still no Wendell Carter Jr. You're going to get Goga Bitadze and Mo Wagner splitting a good chunk of the center minutes. I do want to mention, though, I think the plan for the Magic is to not close the Goga Bitadze. The first game that he started, Goga, the only reason he closed is because Mo Wagner got in massive foul trouble. And then 2 games ago against Dallas, they closed with Mo Wagner. Last game, they were closing with Mo Wagner. And then the last couple of minutes, they actually went to Jonathan Isaac. They went small ball. So I don't think the plan is to close with Goga Batadze as in the fourth quarter. Okay, top end guys, Paolo 7-8, Franz at 7-1. I think between the two, I would give the edge to Paolo. He's been playing much better basketball of late. I still don't think either are standout plays at their respective price points, but they're both reasonable options. The guards all look pretty similar. I just got to give this tilt out of the way too. I've been slamming Jalen Suggs so much with Markelle Fultz out. He's been solid, but nothing crazy. Finally, don't play Suggs with Fultz back. Ceiling game, 40 bomb. Like I said, I just write it down. More proof. No one runs worse. But yeah, Anthony, Suggs, and Fultz all look pretty similar. If I had to pick, I think I would lean Fultz, but those guards all look pretty similar to me on a small slate. Ownership will dictate kind of what I do most likely in tournaments if I'm going to play one of those guys. Again, Batadze at 5-1, I don't love it. I think his cap is kind of like low 20s minutes. That's why I took his under 17.5 PRA last game. Mo Wagner at 4-9. I think I like the ceiling a little bit more on him, but still neither are must plays. I will mention Isaac. Again, if they do close small, he's the guy that benefits. He played 16 minutes last game. So he's interesting tournament play if you think they do go small against Milwaukee. I don't really know if I can get to Black or Ingles. So let's move on to Toronto. So, I mean, you know what I'm going to say here, right? I have been on this guy since the start of the season. No one was on him. We knew this from the beginning of the year. The Scotty Barnes role changed, right? He has been absolutely smashing every single game. Literally, what is he averaging right now? 50 plus fantasy points he's averaging. Go back and watch my videos from the beginning of the season. We were all over this guy. Hammering his overs on player pops every day as well. So, yeah, I mean, Scotty Barnes, he's going to play in a competitive game. He's going to play high 30s minutes. He's doing everything for the team. Now, this is not necessarily the best matchup, but I still have no issue if you want to get to Scotty Barnes at like basically 9K. He's their go-to guy right now, and he is stuff in the stat sheet. He's rebounding the ball at an insane rate, too. He's averaging over 10 rebounds a game. So, yeah, Scotty Barnes looks good. I think he looks better than Pascal Siakam. Now, the price point has dropped in Siakam, and I think Siakam is playable at 8K, but I still think I would prefer Siakam or would prefer Barnes to Siakam for more. And then Dennis Schroeder at 6.4K. In a competitive game, you should see 30-plus minutes from him. I think he's a reasonable option. The only thing I will say, and I mentioned it with the Brooklyn-Boston game tonight, is anytime the Celtics take the court, there is blowout risk. Because the Celtics are the best team in the NBA. Well, there's blowout risk here because Toronto's going on the road in Boston. So there is blowout risk here for sure. Jakob Poeltl, 5.9K. Kind of depends on what happens with Precious Achiuwa. If Achiuwa is in, I'm probably not going to get to Poeltl. If Achiuwa's out, I do like Poeltl a little bit more. Feel a bit more secure about his minutes. The last game, they went small just because Dallas is a small ball team. So they do have the ability to go small there. OG at 5.7. He's kind of indifferent on him. He's had a couple good games of late. Reasonable option there in the mid-range. Gary Trent Jr., 4.6K. Fine for tournaments. Kind of score independent, though, off the bench. If Achiuwa's out, my boy Boucher will see the backup center minutes. 4.1K would make him a fine tournament play. Probably not get to anyone else. But sorry. But again, Toronto, they're running pretty tight rotation right now. So they're playing their main guys a lot of minutes, especially Barnes, Siakam, OG. All right, let's talk about Boston. So Boston, Horford sat in the first half of the back-to-back tonight, so he should be back tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, Boston, looking at their salaries, I think the guys that are the easiest to get to would be Tatum at the top and the two guards in Holiday and White. Tatum, 10.2K, has been playing huge minutes this season in competitive games. He should see around 40 minutes. Like, Boston's running a really tight rotation in competitive games. It's just the fact of they're always blowing out teams, right? So, yeah, I think Tatum looks good at the top. Brown and Porzingis, I think, are more your contrarian plays. Now, both these guys do have ceilings. I think Brown had a really good game tonight, but he has a much lower floor than Tatum. Porzingis been a bit more up and down, 7.9K. Still fine, though. I think, again, the most optimal plays are probably the two guards, Holiday and Derek White, are solid options there. Al Horford, 5.2K. think I'd just rather get to White or Holiday for a little bit more. And I'll mention Peyton Pritchard. I mentioned him tonight in the Patreon stream of, in games that you think Boston blows out teams, Pritchard's an interesting option because he will get extended in a blowout. And when he's on the court in a blowout, he's like their high usage player, right? He's the guy kind of leading the offense. He's a guy that we played a ton in the preseason because he's a good point per minute guy. And when all the starters are off the court and it's Pritchard with the second unit, Pritchard is the go-to guy. So, in a competitive game, he's probably not going to get there. But if you think that Boston blows out Toronto, you can look to a guy like Peyton Pritchard for tournaments. Miami and Atlanta. So Miami is a team that I have a lot of interest in without Tyler Hero. Jimmy Butler, probable 8.3K. I think you got to have a lot of interest in this Miami team. Jimmy and Bam going to have more usage. Bam's played really well over the last couple of games. A 70 bomb there against the Lakers, 52 against Memphis. Jimmy Butler, I think they're going to lean on a bit more offensively here without Tyler Hero. He's had a kind of a quiet start to the year, but this is a pretty good spot for Miami. And then I really like Kyle Lowry. I know he's dusted at this point in his career, but they just don't have any other options right now. They don't. Miami is really thin. They don't have any depth. Lowry's going to have to play 30-plus minutes. I think he looks like a really good play in the mid-range. Duncan Robinson, my guess is he starts for Tyler Hero. And I think he's going to play big minutes. He played 35 minutes last game. Now, the only downside of Duncan is he's relatively scoring independent, but he's going to have a lot of opportunities here. Haywood Highsmith booted Kevin Love from the rotation. He started, played 27 minutes. I like Haywood Highsmith for value if he starts again. Josh Richardson, I think, gets a minutes bump, 4.8K. He's had a really bad start to the year. Shot 1 of 9 last game, but still relatively cheap. Other guys in the rotation, are going to see a little bit of Jaime Jaquez. You're going to see Thomas Bryant play the backup 5. I don't really think we need to get to either of those guys. So, Miami's a team that I'm pretty high on, in a good spot here without Tyler Hero. Talk about Atlanta. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, 9.4 and 8.2K respectively. The ceiling is higher on Trae Young. DeJounte Murray, 8.2K, maybe the slightly better point per dollar play. Both guards firmly in play here. Jalen Johnson, 6.2. I mean, if he stays out of foul trouble, he should play mid-30s minutes. Now, he is pretty foul-prone, but I like the ceiling on Jalen Johnson. The two centers, Capella and Okongwu, I think are both good point per dollar plays. I think Okongwu is the more optimal option since he's a bit cheaper. But he'll also be a lot more popular than Capella. And we know Capella's still a guy that has a ceiling. So Capella more of your tournament play, Okongwu more of your optimal play, factoring in salary. DeAndre Hunter once again got in foul trouble. But Atlanta's running a pretty tight rotation. Like Hunter, Bogdanovich, Bey should all see a good amount of run. Bey, again, was horrific last game. 7 fancy points in 30 minutes. I can't believe that's possible. You already know he's going to have a huge game tomorrow just to tilt everyone that played him last slate. All right, final game here is Cleveland and Golden State. Cleveland's another team that I'm pretty high on because they're running a very tight rotation. Let me bring this up last game. They are running really, really tight rotation. The last game with Isaac Okoro out, Mobley started to play 33 minutes. Jarrett Allen played 26 minutes. Garland, 36 minutes. Mitchell, 37 minutes. Strus, 32 minutes. LeVert played 34 minutes on the bench. And then you saw 13 minutes for Thompson, 18 minutes for Niang, and 11 minutes for Dean Wade. Donovan Mitchell, 9.5K. I think he's one of the better spend-ups on the board. I think overall, probably Giannis would be my favorite spend-up. But I like Donovan Mitchell there at the top. Evan Mobley, 7.5. Kind of indifferent on him. I think he's priced about right, but still a guy that does have a ceiling. I do like Darius Garland. I think he's a really good option in the mid-range. Doesn't look like there's a limit on him anymore. Played 36 minutes last game. So, I think Garland's a pretty solid option. LeVert feels a little bit pricey, but he still played 34 minutes last game, so he's still playable. I think I'd rather play Garland at a similar price point. Jarrett Allen, 5.7 against a small ball team. We probably see high 20s minutes from him. I think he's a pretty safe play. Not a guy with a massive ceiling, but probably not going to kill you. Max Strus, 5.6, should see 30-plus minutes, 36 and 32 minutes over the last couple games. He's a reasonable option as well. Niang is 4.4. Probably don't need to do it. Dean Wade, no thank you. Tristan Thompson will play the backup 5. Don't really think it's necessary. And finally, the Golden State Warriors. And honestly, Golden State, pretty unappealing team. I mean, Steph Curry's always in play for tournaments for me. 10K feels a little bit pricey, but I mean, still a guy that can go for 55 to 60 anytime he touches the court. So I'm never going to say no if you want to play Steph. Like Thompson right now feels a bit overpriced at 6.5K. Chris Paul, 6.3 of Draymond Green back. He's losing assist opportunities. He doesn't look as good. Draymond Green himself, I think, is a decent option. Should see high 20s minutes, but definitely not a must. Looney, 5.5. Again, that feels priced about right. Wiggins has played really bad to start the year. His minutes have ticked down. I mean, the price is dropping, but still kind of hard to click on him. Dario Saric, honestly, has been one of the better players for Golden State this year. 4.9K, though. Like, that price is up on him. Kuminga, we'll see around 20 minutes, but I have a hard time clicking anyone or prioritizing any of these Warriors. Gary Payton will see rotation minutes. Jackson Davis saw rotation minutes last game. Moses Moody is going to see some minutes as well. They're running a pretty deep rotation. No one really stands out point per dollar. If you land on any of these like main guys, as last piece in, sure, but like I just have a tough time prioritizing any of these Warriors on this 4-game slate. So yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up the video. I know it was a bit of a shorter one, but only 4 games. I'll try to get a prize picks video up after this. I haven't looked at the board yet. Hopefully they do have some stuff up already. We did sweep both our picks today on YouTube. Went 2 for 2. We took Tyus Jones over points and Stewart over points. Both of those hit. So keep an eye out for that prize picks video. And yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. Good luck. We'll see you all in the next one.